Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Inane Gaming and Hoarding Dragons. Tonight we're a little light on the players. Brune, Jim Jones, and Martin Luther cannot join us. However, that's okay. This will let Thodrian and Mrak catch up on the XP, and Walker to increase his lead as the most over-leveled character in the group. even though that's not really all that true. Last time, and in fact, since it's been such a long period, a very quick summarization: a dragon and group of Cult of the Dragon personnel were assaulting the village of Greenest in the Greenfields. The party intervened, contrary to common sense, logic, and a valuing of their life. In the process of doing this, they saved many things in the village, including a church that they set on fire, fought off the champion of the Cult of the Dragon, and many other happy circumstances. They were rewarded with things like potions of healing from Tim the homeopath, and ultimately lost track of their nobleman who they had been guarding all along, leading to them, along with a request from the city, to wander out and follow after the cult after they left the town, to scout out their camp and find out how many there are, see if they can't recover some of the treasure, and rescue a monk who attempted to infiltrate the cult and failed. In the process of going forth to do all of this, they ran into a group of cultists who couldn't figure out how to cook a chicken. So they killed them. And then they ran headlong into the spears of a cult ambush that, had they taken prisoners previously, they might have learned about. However, this time they took a prisoner! After nearly party wiping in the teeth of this ambush, they turned things around with a noble sacrifice from Jim Jones, and then a noble sacrifice from Brune, and then a noble sacrifice from Rack, and then a noble sacrifice from Martin Luther, which wasn't even really a noble sacrifice so much as getting caught in a spell that kind of forced him to return to the fray and cost him his opportunity to escape alive on a donkey cart, which is currently where Jim Jones, Martin Luther, and Brune are. They're chasing down the fleeing donkey. That's why they're not here tonight, leaving Mrack, Walker, and Thodrian with their prisoner, who is still trapped in entangling vines.
All right. Is there any way for us to restrain him without ourselves getting in the entangling vines?
Yes,
caught ourselves.
We will go ahead and say that he's not resisting. The vines aren't much of a threat to you guys if you're paying attention and careful and not in the heat of combat. So you're able to get in there, get him out of the vines, and tie him up without risking him trying. Searching him, you can find regalia for the Cult of the Dragon. His spear. Or, I'm sorry, he's one of the ones who had a cudgel. So you get a piece of wood off of him.
Okay.
And absolutely nothing else.
Nothing else?
He's carrying nothing else on him other than basically his combat-ready gear.
What's that stuff that he had from the cult again?
Regalia. It's basically fancy dress for recognizing him as a member in good standing of not high rank, but, an acknowledged participant in the cult as opposed to merely some dude.
Okay.
Some of the other people you fought clearly had the signs of being mercenaries who were just hired on for the job.
Okay. Marac,
should.
What do you want to ask him? Because I'm drawing a blank right now.
Okay, so I missed the one session. So our total mission was to track down. What was it? We were following this cult for a reason. Can't remember what that reason was.
So the town of Greenest, they're concerned about possible follow-up raids, but also they want to plan out possible retaliation, and they want to see about recovering their goods. So they wanted you to scout them out to kind of get a head count, get an idea what the security looks like, and if you can infiltrate the camp, possibly recover prisoners or goods And in fact, there's one prisoner in particular that was pointed out to you by a young monk, Nessim Waladra, who his master is an expert on the cult and was captured by them during this raid. So he is somewhere in the camp, presumably, and he would like it very much, please, if you could bring his master back from his master's failed attempt to infiltrate the cult.
Okay, so
yeah.
So I guess what we want to do is we want to find out numbers, and we want to find out where they're at, and we want to find where the goods are. Right? Those are the three main.
Those are the three
things
main
that we need to do.
objectives. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that I'm good at intimidation, so I could probably ask him if you want me to about this stuff.
Yeah.
If you
Go
want
ahead
me
and
to
give
do
it
the
a go.
question.
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
And
So, sorry. Go ahead.
Can I? Well, I was gonna say, not give an assist on that to give you advantage.
Yes, you can. You
Okay.
roll. You both roll intimidation, and if the donut Thodrian gets a 10 or better, you get advantage on the roll, Mrak.
Oh, can I help out too, or is it just let's just all
Well-
intimidate him?
Since Thodrian manages to quite literally trip on himself while sauntering up, you can.
I guess it's
you
just
can
me.
spot the,
All
you can
right.
spot the problem walker and jump in to try your own hand at assisting.
All right. Let's see what this does.
Jesus, you guys are the worst teammates of all time.
Oh my God! What the hell?
I'm gonna go it alone.
This is gonna
You
be
guys. I just
is gonna
shake
be
my
one of
head
those days.
as a.
The rest of these
Gonna be
virtual
one of those
dice
days.
are real.
All right, so I'm gonna lean down and I'm gonna let the shadows, because my character has he's a shadow person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let the shadows kind of coalesce around my face and kind of change, and so he can barely see my face. And I'm gonna ask him, where's the rest of you, and where are the goods that you stole? And I'll roll intimidation. You said with not advantage, right? Because
No advantage since
Yeah,
your
'cause we
teammates
both failed.
managed to screw that up horribly.
well, I got 9.
Oh. So, in spite of the best efforts of your comrades, oh, I love how they didn't bother to cover what the rearguard guys know, but they did say, oh yeah, here's what the stragglers could tell you. You silly game module, you. Given the circumstances, though, since he is almost dead, he did just see you guys manage to turn around a fight that should have been an easy victory for his people. He's still, a little shaken up by this situation. It's not... But he also is a loyal, devout cultist.
Mm.
You
We'll have
may
to
have taken
change.
us down. You know what? Go for it. I can show you how to reach the camp. I can show you how to reach our camp.
So he's actually going to show us how to get there.
He'll show you how to get there.
All right.
That's a helpful cultist. Thank you.
That is.
I don't-
Thank
What
me
was the
when
other
your
thing we
hearts
wanted
are
to-
being ripped from your chests.
So I'm just gonna grab him by by his shirt and bring him up close. And what was the third question we wanted to ask him? We wanted to ask him
Prisoners.
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 Do you have prisoners in your camp? So can I do an intimidation check again?
Yes.
Okay. An
That's
11, so that's better.
And in the circumstances, that is, in fact, good enough.
Right.
Look, man, it's not like you're going to be able to get them. You're going to get torn to shreds when you try and enter our camp. But okay, look, we took a lot of hostages. We have plenty of prisoners, and we keep them so far into the camp that you're never going to get them out.
That's a pretty bold statement. What's his rank and position?
I wield the primal divine powers of Tiamat herself.
Didn't seem to help you out much. But where would that put you in the hierarchy in your merry band of people?
I have been initiated into the ranks of the cult. And he kind of seems to slump his shoulders a little bit, like admitting that he's a low-rung minion.
Low rung. All right.
Just took a little out of him, forcing him to admit that, man.
Nice. I'd like to confer with Marak real quick.
Okay.
Do you think either one of us could pass as this guy and maybe infiltrate through with maybe the other couple of us dressing up as mercenaries? Do you think that might work?
So I'm going to like glance at the prisoner and see, does he look like any of us? Like, he's probably not going to look like me because I look like a shadow dude. But would the other two be able to pass off a name?
I'm a half elf.
So none of you would do a decent looking around at him. And I should hasten to remind you before you go too far with this particular plan that was it 2 or 3? Yeah, 3 of the other rear guard escaped the encounter. So even if they don't necessarily recognize you guys, they would definitely recognize one of the guys they left behind, or somebody trying to impersonate one of the guys left behind.
Okay, that's gonna backfire then.
Yeah, so I'll say, yeah, that's too risky. Let's get him to show us where the camp is, and then do away with them.
All right, I like it.
Give me wisdom checks, all 3 of you.
Wisdom check.
Yep.
Like just a wisdom check, or like a check that has like intimidation or any of those kinds of things.
Just a straight up wisdom on this one. I'm basically pulling your character's memories.
Did I roll?
You rolled, and all of you rolled well enough for me to feel perfectly fine. Pointing out that you had an opportunity to interrogate a cultist way back in Green S. This was sessions ago, so I don't blame you for not remembering it.
Right.
One of the things that he acknowledged was that during this first day, historically they've had a pattern of having lax security that first day after they come back from a raid. So it's possible that you could sneak in unnoticed, because a lot of the people are just mercenaries. They don't know each other that well necessarily.
They've done a whole lot of traveling. They're tired. They're not really paying attention.
And they're not even checking passphrases to get into the camp.
Well, do either one of you have like performance or anything like that? Like something that'll help kind of pass you off
real quick.
Because mine's like a 3, but it's only based on charisma. I don't have it as a skill.
I was gonna say mine too.
I've got 4 charisma as a skill. I've got just regular deception. I've got a boost to my perception, and I've got a boost to my persuasion.
Persuasion and deception are both good choices.
Persuasion.
Okay, so I have.
I got.
Yeah, I got a 5 for deception, like a +5, and a +3 to perception. What do you guys have?
I've got 2 perception. I've got let's see here. Like I said, I got 2 deception. Got 2 perception, but that's a skill that I.
Yeah, you're probably better suited though, just because I'm not
for
like.
persuasion.
I doubt that they have like shadow people in their camp. That's pretty obvious. Whereas yours not.
I'm willing to take the risk and see if I can't pass off as the cultist here.
Yeah. Okay. And then just maybe we'll try to set up so that we're like close enough that if you need help, then we can like rush in.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll work.
So maybe we'll have like some kind of signal. Do you have any kind of like spell that's like, I don't know, like something that's like flashing lights or something like that that would be able to signal us if you needed help?
Nothing that's not completely overt. I've got my witch bolt. I've got a scorching ray, burning hands. Nothing that's, not combat oriented. I could try to find a private area to fling off a crossbow bolt or something like that into an area that you'd
Do
be
you
able
have
to see.
prestidigitation?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have
Prestid-
prestidigitation?
Prestidigitation.
Yeah. It's a tongue twist.
It's a tongue twister, and no, he does not have it.
Oh. I guess we'll just have to like rely on either hearing fighting sounds or.
Oh, believe me, if it goes wrong, you'll know it.
Gotcha.
My signal will be unmistakable.
All right, so in your travel towards their camp, being led by this acolyte, you actually come across a couple of corpses. It looks like you may recall that there was one guy who clearly seemed to have been leading the rear guard. And in fact, he was the first one to start retreating while yelling at his men to take you guys out.
That's right. He took some severe battering, didn't he?
Yeah, because you all basically tried to alpha strike him. But the other two people who had managed to retreat, you find them lying on the ground, butchered.
That's not.
Part of the way off towards the camp. A pretty obvious intuition would be, oh, look, they might have gotten the leader might have decided to kill them off for some reason, such as perhaps he was less loyal to the cult, given that the acolyte you have with you is now looking a bit pale.
All right. Well, let's see what. Now, we didn't know anything about him except he was obviously the leader. But what's the acolyte know? Was he was obviously higher up than the acolyte. So where's this guy?
No, that man was not one of us. He was merely a well-trained tactician who was given local command.
Ah. Do any of these bodies have anything of any use on them?
If you want a spear, they've got a couple of spears. They have additional cult regalia if you wanted to all have outfits like the cultists.
No, I'm good.
I find the idea of Thodrian, a paladin dressed up like he's a worshipper of Tiamat.
Well, he'd probably pass the rest of us.
Okay. So, with that new little tidbit of information, you're led to, well, a rise. I'm trying to remember the official name for them, where you have a plateau, but it drops off. The things in Arizona, Mesa.
Mesa.
There's a mesa that rises up maybe 300 feet from the general terrain. Unlike the ones in Arizona, this has trees and brush and scrub all around it in, thick enough quantities to not be a arid desert.
All right.
And from a distant scouting, he's able to the acolyte is able to point out to you that it's basically horseshoe shaped, if you are looking at the map, with the camp being nestled inside here.
I may need to reload. I'm looking at a black screen.
Same.
That should not be the case. God damn it. So if you can't see, go and use the reconnect feature to see if that fixes it for you. And or drop out and come back in. As everybody who's watching live can see me gesture at the lovely little map. Can you at least see it, Mrak?
No, it's still black now. I just reloaded it. It's still black.
I'm loading.
What the hell? Let me double check. Yeah, it says players are on this map. Snail and Ziggy watching in the live stream can see the map, as can I watching the live stream.
All I'm getting is a black. I got like a white bar at the top, but that's it.
Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the story of my channel.
Mine is still black, yeah. It might have to be you. You might have to drop out and come back.
Alright. Let's see if this fixes things.
I'm gonna go ahead and back out while he's doing that too.
It is pretty funny that the engineer has the worst problems.
I know, right?
I know. Now, the other question is, it shouldn't have kicked everybody else out, but did it kick everybody else out?
No,
I backed out. I backed out and I'm reloading. Because I know that if I don't, I'll still be looking at a black screen. You pop back in.
No, I still got a black screen. It's like it knows there's a map there, but the map is black.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ziggy, it was a good idea, but the map is on the map layer.
Will we need our tokens? Because if not, we can just look at it on your...
You may not need your token, so it might just be easier since it's showing up on the live stream. It might be easier for y'all to just look at the live stream for the visual aspect. And we just hope you don't end up running into a situation where you actually need your tokens or something. I'm going to
even if
one last thing.
Even if we need our tokens, we could just fight without using the map. Like just
there it is. It just went black again. It was there and then it wasn't there.
So it's going black.
Now it's back.
So you can see the battle map there.
Correct.
But, oh my goodness. So they botched something the hell up on this one. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to click copy. Join you guys over here.
This reminds me of our first session, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, there, I can see it now.
All right, so
I've still got nothing. No. Wait, I'm loading. There we go. Okay, I got something. There we go. I see now.
See clearly now.
Yay.
Okay, I'm going to have to do some.
I can see clearly now. The rain.
Stop. Okay. Why won't it let me move it where I want it? Why are you locking?
I feel compelled to point out that when you're moving the map, you're moving it on my screen as well.
Yep.
Yes, I'm aware that it's moving it for everyone. It's just one of those. I'm trying. That's part of why I'm trying to move it, is to get it so that you can actually see the whole thing, so to speak. But I guess this will work. This will be good enough.
All right. We'll work with it. I like it.
So, you have this horseshoe-shaped mesa. The white-ish areas that I'm currently pinging are the high ground. And mind you, we're talking about hundreds of feet from one side to the other. That is not 65, that's not 55 feet, that's closer to like 600, 700 feet across.
Okay.
And it's about 300 feet up to get all the way to the top. With this beigeish color being lower to the ground, but not that low. And then this greenish area being where you're standing, essentially. So
Okay.
as you come around down, you're coming from this direction, and your guide tells you that the camp is inside of the mesa, essentially hidden from easy public view.
All right.
That's a death trap then. There's only one way out and one way in, so
Looking around, you get the feeling that with a bit of effort, you could scale the walls.
300 feet though. That would be
A bit of a climb check.
That would.
yeah, and a fall to your death if you're up high enough,
And fuck it up, yes.
and if you have people shooting at you with arrows and stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to try to climb that.
No, that's.
I do not have the climbers.
Hiding out near, like, if you were hiding in these trees, you're close enough to see that, true to what you had learned, this X is a guard tower, and true to what you've learned, nobody's really paying much attention. The guards in the guard tower appear to be playing, you're not sure, you think it's Yahtzee, but you're not 100% certain.
Okay. So
And
basically we're-
nobody is mounting patrols, and you can see the occasional person just wandering on into camp. Nobody that you can see from where you are is wearing anything that would identify them as a cultist that you can tell from this distance.
Huh. All right. So I
And
guess
they
you got to
definitely
make your way
don't
in
seem
there.
like they've been alerted to anything.
You could Mission Impossible it off the cliff, like into the camp.
Dun, 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 dun,
All right,
dun,
so,
dun,
from
dun.
what I'm seeing, the biggest issue for me, if I've got to get out of there quickly, is going to be that guard tower. That's going to be an issue for me if I
Well-
have to get out of there.
Yeah, but if that guard tower looks to be all on like one side, so you should be able to get in on the other side. You should be able to sneak in on the other side.
That's right. It is a pretty.
Yeah, because if that thing is
Yeah.
like 700 feet, then that there is
Yeah,
like
you're talking about 200 feet from
From the wall edge to the tower.
from this
itself.
tower to this wall edge is roughly 200 feet, looking at my more detailed map.
yeah.
All right.
Whoever made that guard tower and put it on like one side.
They were.
I honestly kind of feel as though they were trying to make this that they were trying to make this. What the hell just popped up? Fuck you, buttons. They were trying. It's like they were trying to make this escapable almost.
All right. Well, I'll turn to the acolyte and say, "Give me your pants."
Hey, Inane, is that other X that there would be a guard tower as well, but it's up on the cliff?
Why, yes, it is. I just didn't mention it
Oh.
because it didn't look to me like it would necessarily be visible to you guys from where you are.
Oh. Because I'm just
But-
wondering if it might be worth it to like for the two of us to circle around on top of the cliff and take out that guard tower. How many people are in the guard towers?
If it's anything like the one that you can see, it is. Oh, come on. Why don't you tell me right in the entry for the guard tower how many people are typically in the guard towers? I remember reading it.
Before I was when I was looking at all like the modules and everything. I don't have yours, by the way. I don't have yours, but I watched like some reviews of ones that had like all the different modules, and it said that the dragon one was like the worst one.
There are. It definitely suffers from being the first module they wrote after Mines of Phandalin for 5th edition. So
I thought Princess was the first one. I'm pretty sure.
it
Pretty sure
goes.
Princess is first.
I'm not gonna try and argue this here, but I could have sworn it was the Dragon Queen pair and then Princes. But that's something for us to nerd about in a nerd live stream instead of a very serious role playing game live stream where nothing nerdy at all is going on at all. I would
Get your
say
nerd on.
you get the vibe of about 3 guards in the tower.
That sounds pretty standard.
Which is odd because I'm pretty sure Yahtzee is a 4-player game. So yes, you could, hypothetically, while he is doing his infiltration, you could move around, scale the cliff wall. It's not... I keep saying cliff, but it's sloped enough that it's not something you couldn't manage to do. In fact, I am double checking. Yep. When you take a look at the slopes of the plateau, they are it is steep, but there are enough handholds and footholds. There's enough cragginess and variety to it that if you're taking your time, you don't need to make a climb check. It's just a time-consuming and tiresome thing to do. But you don't... It's only if you were trying to, hurry because, say, guards are watching you and coming after you and shooting at you that you would need to make a climb check. So, yes. Your idea, Mrak, of going around to take out the other tower while he's infiltrating is viable.
You want to do it?
Yeah, that'll work. I mean, it's high up there. That tower's already. If you can manage to get up there without drawing any attention, and take the tower, even if you draw attention while you're taking the tower.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get up there.
They're not going to be able to get up there, and they'll be distracted.
Is up there, they have to have some sort of regular traversing path to be able to change out the guard on. We might be able to locate a way to get down from it.
Well, they must have got up there somehow. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you can locate that and it's accessible to me, I can use that. And depending on how many prisoners there are.
As he's taking off his pants, the acolyte informs you that there is a rope and bar. I'm sure it's got a better name than that, but basically a ladder where the vertical's made out of ropes and you've got bars, wooden cross beams.
Oh, okay.
That's been staked into the side of the cliff for easier access.
Okay, so we can do that. Also, do we have all our spells back and everything from last session?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to cast the armor one on me because it lasts for 8 hours. So.
All right. I'm going to get decked out in cultist garb. And
all right.
can I bother one of you guys to, carry my clothes so I can change back into my stuff?
Sure, I can carry that.
All right.
Just do a Spider-Man. Just leave him around.
Just leave them somewhere.
Toss them in a convenient
we can take
dumpster. That won't be a problem later.
No, not a problem at all.
So who do you want to? I guess the person infiltrating should go first then, because they're going to be doing it before we get to the tower, right? So
right. So you guys are doing your whole maneuvering and climbing and approaching thing, whilst Walker walks up into the camp, attracting no immediate attention.
Awesome.
Walker. Well, you go ahead first.
As I'm walking in, I'm gonna be trying to get counts on people, a rough layout of where everything is, and I'm just gonna kind of traverse the camp as nonchalantly and all that as possible.
The black blobs are tents, basically. This first
Okay.
area, as you're coming in, give me a charisma check. You can apply deception, or you can roll it as deception or as persuasion as you see fit, but do so
All right.
at disadvantage.
At disadvantage. All right. To core abilities.
And ironically, while hints were dropped, the reason it's at disadvantage is because you had the smart idea of putting on the cultist clothes, despite being repeatedly told how nobody in the camp is wearing cultist clothes that you can see.
Well, let's see
Yeah,
here.
dumbass.
You said either persuasion or deception.
Yep.
All right, let's try the
This
persuasion.
is basically our test of how well you blend in.
All right.
Dude, if you fail this, you're dead.
I know. If I fail this, I'm running. Come on. Don't screw me.
Oof.
How
5.
bad. Oh my.
You should
Oh, that's a
thank-
critical one.
Now,
Damn it.
the game Roll20 doesn't recognize this, and I run by the core rule that critical failures only apply to attacks. Which,
All right.
hilariously, that then tells me that, hilariously, you can't fail this check had I realized that you have a +4 to your persuasion check.
Oof.
Because the DC is 5.
Oh.
Wow.
Woo.
We'll
All
take it.
right.
Because
For once,
you're
luck
not-
is on our side.
Because you're not Brune. Brune has a -4 penalty to this check if he were here.
Oh no.
I think
yes.
Brune would be the last person we would send in to infiltrate anything, though.
I know, right? We'd
Oh,
send
come on!
We'd send him in as cuddly.
He infiltrated the guys cooking a chicken camp so well.
We'd send him in as cuddly Brune and see what happened.
See how far he made it before they managed to cut him down? It's like freaking American Werewolf in London levels of carnage here.
Oh yeah.
Except
All
that
right,
knowing Brune, he'd get distracted in the porn theater.
Yeah.
So yes, you're able to make it in.
All right.
You're getting a little bit of side eye, but for the most part, people are like, okay, I guess he belongs here. Don't know what's up with those blood stains on his clothes, but
All right.
there's
Just walk
no
like
way
you got a
anybody would be
purpose and nobody
sneaking-
stops you.
These
there's
are like
no
the
way
dumbest
anybody would be
cultists of all
sneaking in
time.
here. Well, right now he's surrounded by kobolds, so at the risk of upsetting my fellow player in GC's game, kobolds are dumb.
It's true.
Hell, I've already won a check against them before anyway. All right.
So, you're making your way through, you're getting a count of the numbers. You're getting the feeling that the kobolds aren't much respected and they kind of know it.
Right.
But you're also getting that as you start to move into the human areas of the camp towards the rear and the higher elevations.
Mm-hmm.
You're also getting a pretty good confirmation that yeah, most of the humans here are, whatevs.
All right.
They are here to collect a paycheck, not to care about the cult of the dragon and its amazeballs plans to take over the world.
Right.
They just know that money is available.
Money.
As I try
Alright.
and set this up so that yes, I can put the whole map on the screen.
Woo! All right.
It's still horribly, horribly off scale because, as you can see down here, that's 100 feet. That's 200 feet. So from there to there would be 200 feet. There to there is 300 feet. So roughly, get me back on the right layer to do this. 75 feet equals 300 feet when you use the measurement rulers.
All right. So now all I need to do is get my sprite in appropriate position. Now, I am somewhere, I'm guessing, right around, I guess in this area.
You've made it up to that area. And over here, well, first off, over here is the ladder up to the other guard tower.
Ping that again. Oh, okay. Now it would be what, on this side, the south side, probably, the ladder.
Yeah, the ladder is like going up the wall here, more or less.
Okay. All right.
And this, real quickly, this here, this big ass tent, you can see milling around it and what looks like to your eyes some kind of an honor guard and a stake, like a really big wooden pole of a stake driven into the ground, tied up to which is an elven looking dude that I don't know if I have a convenient picture of.
What was the race of the dude we were supposed to be looking for?
Or sorry, half-elven dude. Because he is indeed half-elven.
Oh.
Will that work? Come on, work. Nope, doesn't want to work. But you kind of get the feeling that that might be, the guy you're looking for.
Oh.
Definitely tied up. Definitely
having a bad day.
Having a good day. Yeah, he is not enjoying Flavor Country.
Okay. From where I'm at, I'm seeing on the map this cave back here. Can I see that from where I am?
Yes, you can see that around. You can see that there's a cave entrance. There we go. Now you're on the map and can maneuver yourself, even though you are not to scale. Let it be known that you are not to scale.
I am a straight up giant of a man. All right, so I can see the cave. Do I see any lights or anything in there, like it's being used?
It does not appear to be lit. However, real quickly while I... You can see occasionally a cultist or a couple of guys going in and out, carrying crates, carrying bags. So it looks like they're using it for storage.
Okay. In my whole travels through the camp, have I seen an area where they might keep the prisoners? An easy place to keep them?
You haven't seen an easy place to keep them. They could be in the cave. You also haven't explored down here, the very back ass end where it would be the hardest for, short of being kept in the cave, the area that it would be the hardest for anybody to break loose from.
Right.
And as you're making the assessment of whether to try and slip up on the cave versus
exploring further.
Exploring further. Go ahead.
If you wait, though, I was just gonna say, if you wait until we get up to the guard tower, if we take out the guards, we could set the guard tower on fire, and then everybody would probably go there.
That
and then
like and then
you could try to get the prisoner out at least, Because that would be
Yeah.
our primary concern, right? Is to save the person if we're good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
I
the
like
guy
how
out of there.
I like how you put that
the person.
caveat of if we're the good guys,
If we're the good guys.
All humanism and stuff, you know.
which
I
was
like that.
which was bringing me to what I was saying is that while Walker is deliberating this, our two gentlemen on the cliffs have made their way round and realized that due to perspective, something they didn't notice before, even though the guard tower is up on the cliff, it's up on a little jut of the cliff that's below them. So they're actually above the guard tower in a position where the guards aren't easily able to spot them offhand.
What's
So
their
you
line
guys
of
have
sight?
the advantage over them. You can't easily see them to attack them directly. From where you are, but they can't spot you at all unless they actually like leaned out of the guard tower.
Why don't we light it on fire somehow with them in it?
I like it. Now we can see each other. Can we see each other?
I'm assuming that Mrak and Thodrian are trying not to be blatantly visible.
Yeah, we're not.
You can roll a perception with advantage since you're actively looking for them. Nobody is actively looking for Mrak or Thodrian, so I'm not asking them to roll stealth. But for Walker to notice them up there, I am going to require him to make a perception check. Mrak and Thodrian, as they get up here, they can spot Walker sticking out like a sore thumb. It's one of those, you almost wonder how the hell they haven't caught on to this guy strutting around, acting like he doesn't belong, like he's scoping out everything and doing a mental head count.
Yeah. Perception, don't fail me now. No, I didn't roll with it. Did I roll with advantage or disadvantage?
Technically, you rolled with disadvantage, but we can still take the 12. We know that it was advantage, so we can look at that and go, that's a 12. That's high enough since you're looking for them and know where you're supposed to be looking for them. That, yep, you can kind of see Thodrian face palming at you, like, oh my god, what the... Really?
This actually is working? How is this working?
Yeah, how?
All
So,
right.
do you have any like fire spells or anything like that? Because I don't have any fire spells.
I believe that's directed at Thodrian.
Yes.
I was just looking at that. I have no fire spells. The only spells that I'm able to do is what? Cure wounds?
I do have fire spells.
Oh my gosh, you sent the wrong person there. I have oil, but if we're up above, I'm not going to be able to get it to the tower.
Well,
I guess we're just gonna.
I would think that gravity is a great assist in getting something
I was
down.
gonna say, do a Molotov
No.
Molotov.
Yeah, getting the oil on the tower is fine, but getting it lit is the problem.
I mean, we have flint and steel.
Yeah, but if we I throw the oil on the thing, and I'm gonna sit up the top with the flint and steel. That's not gonna work.
Okay, hold on.
Just take a rag, throw it in the oil, cheek,
Yeah.
and then.
I could do that, like rip a thing off my robe or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Improvise.
since you already suggested the idea of using your own clothes, I'm going to go ahead, because it amuses me, to point out somebody did ask you to hold on to their clothes for him, and you're not using those clothes for anything else.
It's a great idea. We'll use the pants. And
Shit.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
I knew lighting that church on fire would come back to bite me. It would be real fitting if it was if it was Martin that was doing this.
if you lose the cult robes, it'll be like Baywatch.
Ironically,
Try
that
not
might
to use
stand
all
out
of my
less.
pants.
So
Turn them into capris.
What do you want me to roll, or are you just gonna say that the oil can land on the improvised Molotov cocktail will hit the tower?
You know what? I'm going to set I'm going to set the armor class, quote unquote, of the tower low, very, very low, and you're going to have advantage on the attack roll. But I kind of want to see if there's any way to turn this into an oh god why situation.
Okay, so what do you want me to roll then? Just
Give me this party as Ziggy has pointed out in the chat. This party has something of a romance with arson, so I'm going to assume that you're proficient in setting buildings on fire. So give me a 1d20 plus dex plus your proficiency modifier, which I believe comes out to something like a 1d20 plus 4, and give yourself advantage on that.
Okay, 1d20. So just add 4 to it. So
that's that. If you add the 4, that's straight up 20.
Okay, and your advantage roll was your other roll was no better. I was just saying, at this point, now that you easily got it, I was just curious to see if you'd get a crit if I rolled a second time, since I did technically say it. Okay. Either way, so no crit, sadly, but you do trivially drop your Molotov cocktail onto the guard tower, and you're able, with such a good roll, I'm willing to say that you're able to do it without making it obvious to people watching what happened, other than all of a sudden there is a fucking fire burning on the roof of the guard tower. I'm going to pull up these guys. Am I on the... wrong button. Of course it doesn't give me their actual stats when I double click on them.
No, do we want to actually kill them, or we just want to like book it out of there?
I would suggest personally that now that you've gotten a sufficient distraction going, try to get back towards the camp entrance to render support if needed, unless you've got the range and confidence to hit.
Our goal was to create a distraction. It wasn't to straight up kill them.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Distractions they don't know what's going on.
Distraction.
Everyone's got their attention on the big ass bonfire of a tower now.
So as Mrak and Thodrian shimmy their way away from the edge of the cliff, then get up and kind of sprint around the edge of the cliff back towards the entrance, is what I understood the plan is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're back towards the entrance of the...
All right. What Walker sees is, and he's not sure how he knows this, but just intuitively he gets the feeling, those were my pants. As this flaming ball comes dropping down onto the guard tower, shatters, spreading oil and fire all over the top, rapidly dripping down, immediately catching the combustible material of the guard tower on fire. And in fact, the guards all horribly failed their dexterity saving throws that I decided to give them to see whether or not they'd get burned. Start pouring out of the guard tower, taking a lot of damage in the process. And come to think of it, they're even going, since they're not bothering to use the now currently burning, they're not inclined to trust any of the wooden shit that is part of their guard tower.
Oh no.
So they're not trying to climb down the ladder out of the guard tower. They're jumping out of the sides of it. So
does one land next to the tent where the honor guard is?
So that's kind of what I'm checking, is to see. So 1, 2, 3,
that would be
4,
wonderful.
5. So one of them is jumping out that way. One of them is jumping out that way. why were none of them all that smart about where they were? Why did none of them jump away from the giant chasm of a cliff fall?
Well, in their defense, when you're being burned alive, your reasoning skills kind of go out the window.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Okay, so this guy, as he's diving out, he's able to kind of catch himself, arrest his fall, and just come to rest prone on the ground up there and not, down here. This fellow, on the other hand, he's panicking. He's throwing himself out. Oh, let me really quick double check falling damage in 5th edition. I believe it's 1d6.
D6 every 10.
1d6 every 10. So, that is at an elevation of...
That's an elevation of straight up fatal.
Is there a cap? Do you remember if there's a cap?
I don't think.
It's not.
Yeah, I think there is, but I think it's like 20d6 though. It's something like astronomical.
Okay, yeah, it's not going to matter. As he turns into a splatter on the ground.
Damn.
And the last guy is able to arrest at the point where he's dangling from the cliff and still trying to figure out how to put out the fact that he is literally on fire.
Oh.
His armor, both of them had burning oil land on their dried leather armor.
Shit.
That's kept supple by applying oil to it. So, yeah, they're not in good spots.
Mm-mm.
As that guy is currently at minus 59 HP, the guy who's on the ground near you.
Damn.
And in reaction to this, and you might have even, I have to remember perspective. You're far enough away not to get splatter on you. You're outside the splat zone. Because that's roughly times 4, so you're about 80 feet away from where he hits the ground.
Damn.
You notice he has your pants on his head. But...
Yes. There's still no idea in your mind why you would recognize the stitching on the hem of your pants, but the very fringe of the bottom of the left cuff of your pant is just resting, merely burning like a little crown on his head.
Did they have to use all of my pants?
If I remember
That's
correctly,
the thought
they
that
cut
immediately
them...
comes to mind.
If I remember
sure.
correctly, they converted them into capris.
Yeah. We didn't have to, but we used as much as possible. We cut out the crotch too, so it's more like more like chaps now.
That's good to know. I'll be hearing about that when I get my pants. And I'll have questions.
People throughout the camp start kind of like the guys in the tents immediately around you come busting the fuck out. They're not really paying any attention to you, granted.
Mm-hmm.
They're currently trying to figure out what the fuck is going on and what to do about burning burning guard tower. When out of this tent steps forth a familiar face. That half-dragon champion guy that Brune went toe-to-toe with. And
he never saw me. I'm still good.
He's looking around. He spots you. You! Guard the half-elf! Pointing at this
He's gonna
fellow.
help us. He's gonna help us do our mission.
As he starts taking off at a jog for the cave.
All right. He's going to the cave. That's strange.
It's probably where his
Um,
goods are and stuff. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
As you approach, you get the feeling that the half-elf has been subjected to torture.
Of course he has.
He's definitely been beat up. He looks almost crippled at this point. Like, you're not... he could... You get the vibe that he could walk, but it wouldn't be fast or a fun time.
Okay.
And he's delirious. He's half out of it, but, so, what you do? What you up to?
Okay. Well, shit. Is there any more of the honor guard you mentioned around the?
The honor guard, half of them split off to go with Mr. Half Dragon Man, Mr. Lang de Drosa,
Mm-hmm.
and the other half have closed in on the corpse of the guard, and you get the gist. You're not catching all of it because you're kind of focused on Leosin right now, but
Yeah.
you get the gist that they're arguing about whether or not to climb up and help these two up here, as well as what to do about the fire.
Okay.
Climb, my little petunias, climb.
Is there any indication that I am going to be? I mean, from the state of things, I'm thinking I'm pretty well probably going to be able to cut him loose
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps make it down towards this area here behind the other tents at the south that you mentioned, to not only
This
check
area?
it out, to not only check it out to see if there are other prisoners there, but also to quickly get out of sight with him. Is there, from a glance around, does it look like anyone will see me if I cut him loose and just kind of hobble his ass that way?
There's the off chance that they might see you. However, they definitely seem preoccupied with burning building,
Okay.
as well
What
as
do you need?
securing the camp. That you get the vibe that nobody has thought, especially after some people spotted you getting personal orders from Lang de Drosa.
Mm-hmm.
You get the vibe that they're not really concerned.
So I could
Get him out
easily
of there.
kind of pass off that I'm trying to take him to a more secure
Yeah,
area.
you are doing your job. You are guarding this man. You have Lang de Drosa's personal command.
Let's do it. I like it. Let's roll with that. I'm gonna cut him loose and drag him over to that one area I hadn't quite gotten a good look at to see if I can see any prisoners in there.
You two, running along the cliff edge, notice that the kobolds' reaction, who are all out in this more distant area, seems to be to organize themselves up into small groups and then start ranging out away from the entrance as if they're suspecting that somebody's going to launch a major assault. But nobody, for whatever reason, has yet started to scan, well, the cliff wall, where obviously any fire had to have come from. They're in panic mode. They haven't really gotten their shit together yet.
All right.
Well, I think we should just get to the front and then wait for Thodrian to get out there. Because that would be 2 of the 3, right? Because we now should know approximate numbers, and we have the prisoner. And
You
who cares
have-
about the goods? We can get
Yep.
that later at some point.
You definitely were able to spot Walker. You hadn't gotten far enough away yet to not see Walker close in on Leosin, so you have confidence about that. You're right. You have pretty good numbers. You don't know, but Walker knows where they're keeping the goods.
All right. In that cave back down there.
So get him out of there, Walker.
That's the plan at this point.
All right, so Walker making it down here. You spot that? Yeah, sure enough. There are more prisoners down here. There's about 8 of them. Oddly,
Okay.
you don't see your nobleman amongst them.
That dude just has the worst luck. Doesn't he owe me money?
He owes you money. He personally owes you money.
That bastard. Damn it. All right. From a quick glance, what's the general state of the prisoners?
There is a guard who hasn't yet fled to investigate. He looks wide-eyed and kind of like, what the hell is going on? As I double-check, because they have a special guard, according to this. Okay, still humanoid. He is, in fact, the first person you've seen since you got here in cultist regalia. Openly flaunting that he's a member of the Cult of the Dragon.
All right.
And he looks spooked, but he is standing there at the ready, leather armor. There we go. Stereotypical scimitar, because bad guys use scimitars. And he is guarding a cluster of 8 people, none of whom are are the man who owes you money. And those people are chained. They're
chained.
They are each wearing shackles with a chain running from shackles to shackles to shackles. So they're chained together and shackled.
All right. I think I might take advantage of his bewilderment at this point.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to play this. I'm thinking I can do this one or two ways. I can send him away to help and just retain the key and take over for him on order of the half-dragon dude that ran down in the cave. Or I could have him help me move the prisoners to a more secure location outside of camp that I got from the information of which I got from the half-dragon dude.
Right.
Debating on what one would work better and what I would have to roll to manage to do
either way would be persuasion. Given that he had line of sight to see you, to see Langdedrosa shouting out an order. He didn't have line of sight to see you, but he saw Langdedrosa come out, shout an order at somebody. Then you came into the picture, seeming to act on those orders, and then you came running up to him.
Okay.
So you have advantage on this roll because you have... Go ahead, Mrak.
Well, I was just gonna say, tell them that that the camp is under attack, so because they're trying to take the prisoners.
So we have to take the prisoners first.
Yeah, we have to take them.
Yeah, we have to move the prisoners. All right. So on advantage with a persuasion. Please don't screw me now.
These rolls, man.
God damn.
Mother of Jeebus.
These rolls. The only rolls that went well is the one where the fire hit the...
When you're trying to destroy shit, y'all do well. But
I need my lucky pants back. I never should have taken my pants off.
You could be the first Chip and Dale.
Damn. That would be a hell of a distraction, and that might actually work to my advantage in the future. All right, what's
he's
the
giving
damage?
you he's giving you this. So, oh, it rolled it privately just to me. I rolled him disadvantage, and while you rolled a 1, which turned into a 5, and then what turned into an 8, he rolled a 20 and a 17. So he got the good rolls on disadvantage, and you got the shit rolls on advantage. What the hell?
So
he's
looking
looking
at
what's his response? I need to know how to pull my ass.
He's looking at you askance and fingering his scimitar, and he's like, I work to a higher authority than him. And frankly, the prisoners are far safer right here. So don't even think about moving.
That's what he's saying to me.
That's what he's saying
All
to
right.
you.
Since he's not actually going for an attack right now, he's just doubting my word. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and ask if I can try to throw an intimidation behind it, and ask him if he really wants to answer to whatever the fuck the half dragon's name is.
Do you really want to bring Lang Dedrosa in here? He's got other shit to do, motherfucker. You want me to go get
Exactly.
Lang Dedrosa? That's the vibe you're going for? All right.
That's what I'm going for.
I will allow it.
All right, and I'm gonna try with an intimidation. Please, come on, roll 20. Work with me.
Yes!
Woo!
Yes!
There's much rejoicing.
Yes!
Hello,
Thought maybe we're gonna have to throw fire at him or something.
Woo!
Seriously, setting him on fire was about the only way to have been more effective than that intimidation roll.
Oh.
As his hand drops away from the scimitar, moves over to the keys, tosses the key to you. I'll help the monk. You get the rest.
Exactly, motherfucker. That's what I thought. All right. So my plan at this point, once I get the prisoners freed, is I'm going to try, since we're trying to move them to a more secure area, as what my little buddy believes, I'm wanting to try and skirt behind these tents and follow the cliffside as much as possible back to the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And try to circumvent the kobolds. And if the kobolds pop out, they've got two cultists that they presumably have worked with before and know the uniform at least a little bit, so it should be easier to convince them to get the fuck out of the way.
So you're pulling a move, bitch, get out the way.
Exactly. Move, bitch, or answer to the dragon, get out of the way.
You have to sing it, though.
No, we don't need the copyright strike.
Oh, no.
Not that this channel is monetized. I have nowhere near enough viewers, etc., ad nauseum.
All right.
So you three start making your way out. At this point, he's just kind of working on, once you get moving, he's kind of in the follow rather than the question what's going on situation.
Right.
So it doesn't seem to be dawning on him that you're leading him right the hell out of camp.
Mm-hmm.
As you lead him right the hell out of camp.
I like it.
And now we find out if the game...
I want him alive. I want him alive. I want to question him about their schedule and if they'll be back to the town and what town they'll be striking next. I want him alive.
Do you have a black screen or can you see...
I can see it.
Thank goodness. So you get reasonably well clear of the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Your buddies, seeing that you made it out just fine with a frickin' passel of hostages, are able to maneuver their way the hell out of the way. Mrak and Thodrian, you do notice that he has what looks suspiciously like a cultist working with him. So the question I have for you is, do you guys want to meet them publicly or not so publicly?
I think we do.
Not so public.
Yeah, I think we'd probably just be publicly, because we don't know that he. Like, I guess we'd know that he's kind of, I don't know. But if they see us, then they're just gonna wonder why they're not attacking us, right? Because we're in the middle of nowhere.
Well, true, but we could also be mercenaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the people you saw in the camp weren't wearing any kind of a gear that would other than, Walker, you guys never saw anybody wearing anything that would identify them as cultists. until you saw Walker leaving with this guy who was wearing stuff that looked similar to the other cultists.
Well, if we come out of like nowhere and they see us, Walker could just give us like a wink, wink, like, "Hey, don't be killing them."
Yeah.
Like talk friendly to him or something. Make us know
just
that.
come out like, my God, what happened? Are you guys okay?
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
We heard a commotion. What's going on?
All right, so you two are able to set yourselves up such that Walker and company run into you. You guys start merging, playing along to the whole "holy shit, what's going on" approach.
Uh-huh.
As the guard who still has your monk starts slowing down and comes to a stop a bit of ways from you.
Oh, the jig is up.
Of course it is. All right.
You might want to cast him now before he gets to the point where we have to kill him.
See here. I might
Maybe
still be
like
able
just
to...
maybe tell him that you're not part of the thing, and that because it's 4 against 1. I mean, the other guy's not the tortured dude isn't going to be fighting, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look good for him, right? Like he should know that.
He's severely outnumbered.
Uh-huh.
See here. Hold on.
I mean, I don't mind killing him.
I could play the bad guy just to get close enough back to him, back to the guard. Just kind of wink at them, wink at Marak and Theldrian, and just go, "Who are you guys?" and start backpedaling back towards the guard so I can get closer to him. Since he's obviously showing a little bit of apprehension, if I can get close to him, it'll be easier for me to surprise him and just subdue him without putting the monk at risk.
I will remind you, though, that literally every good ability you have is ranged. You're not designed for the whole "I'm going to subdue you in melee" thing.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
But
well,
it's your character. It's your call.
I want to try to push him towards, screw it. Damn it. If he's starting to get apprehensive, I'm just going to tell him if he doesn't drop the monk and back off, he's going to die.
So you're going for one more intimidation?
Yeah.
Try and keep him in line?
Try to keep him in line. Do I get any kind of advantage on this, or is it normal?
At this point, you're down to... His suspicion is just a little too... He's now in that mode of shit's going down and his guard is up, so you don't have any advantage on this roll. You don't have disadvantage on it, but...
Alright, maybe I can persuade him if he lets the guy go, he can just leave. What do you think? Should I roll with that, or should we just, well, hell, we're going to probably wind up killing him.
Yeah, you might as well try to do it without violence, but
yeah,
if violence becomes necessary, not a big deal. We can kill him.
All right.
Which does remind me, what did Thodrian and Rack ever do with the Acolyte?
What Acolyte?
What Acolyte indeed. Obviously, he's been shuffled loose the mortal coil.
I mean, I would just as assume we would have knocked him out. We didn't bring him with us to here.
You do have 3 dudes in a cart that aren't visible on the map you could have left him with. If you wanted to play the legal thing of giving him a trial before you execute him.
Yeah.
We could just say that I slit his throat too. Like, I'm fine with that. I killed the other guy pretty easily.
If he's cooperating,
You do have a paladin in the party. Sometimes they're going to try and force you to be moral people.
I'm gonna try to persuade him to just let the monk go, stand down, and we'll try to resolve it, and he won't get hurt. But he ain't
All
going to
right.
be allowed to leave either. I'm going to try that persuasion check. Don't screw me. Don't screw me. Don't screw me.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's not the
Nice
worst
middle
roll
of the
we've had
ground.
tonight.
Not the worst. Not the worst.
As I double check in this little thing called the Dungeon Master's Guide. Okay, so he lets Leosin fall to the ground. He takes one very clear step back as he draws his scimitar with it aimed right at Leosin's neck.
Mm-mm.
I'm leaving.
He said he's leaving?
He said he's leaving. He did not say he did not. You get the vibe based on both word choice and the fact that he's already let go.
Right.
Of Leosin, that he's not going to try and drag the prisoner back, but he is not going with you.
Huh. All right. Well, given his proximity to the half
let him
elf
go.
Leosin, let him go.
So we just hold our hands up, go.
Now, just because I don't want you guys to neglect your abilities, I will remind you as he distances himself a little bit from Leosin, and Leosin kind of starting to come around, starts moving away from him as well.
Yeah, I was gonna cast Ray of Sickness at him when he got clear.
He's not the only one that's going to be throwing some.
All right,
stuff.
so I will let you two take your. While I pull up the initiative stuff, you two go ahead and roll your attacks.
All right.
It wouldn't be D&D without at least one combat.
At least one. All right. How far away is he from me? I can't check it.
He is 35 feet.
30.
So I got 18 because I had to add 4. You have to add 4 because I didn't fix my sheet from last time.
Yep, I can see it because I can mouse over and see what it's set up as, and know that is definitely incorrect. Ironically, it would have worked even if you had rolled just a 14.
Can I move up a step or two to get in range and try to hit him with the witch bolt?
I would say that because all of this shit's sort of happening simultaneously and you two are choosing when to take your attacks, that he could be 5 feet closer.
Okay.
Which works out just the same. Okay. All right.
And to my stuff and
his Constitution save.
Roll for me.
It rolled twice for some reason.
I have no idea why. It always does that when I use the pop out. So.
And I'm afraid that your witch bolt is going to miss him, possibly because he's reeling from the ray of sickness that smashed into him. So as he doubles over from Mrack's attack, yours flies just over his head.
Damn it.
Giving you good cause to glare at Mrack for, fucking shit up for you.
Damn it, Mrack.
So yeah, Thodrian, Walker, and Mrack roll initiative.
I always lose where the initiative thing is.
On your character sheet in between armor class and speed.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay, Descending order. Yep, you're all on there. Good. So, Thodrian.
Well,
It's clear
So-
your friends aren't in favor of letting this man leave.
it's understandable. Don't need him warning.
Did he
That's
make
my
his save,
movement.
by the way? I didn't.
He failed his save. So he is poisoned.
I'll go ahead and move up to the monk and ready a. Well, actually, I'll go ahead and throw my light.
Throwing your light hammer to translate for everyone who probably didn't hear everything because your mic keeps cutting out again.
Oh, sorry. I need
It's
to be a
all
little
good.
bit louder. I turned up the sensitivity on it.
That is, I'm afraid to say, not going to be a successful attack with that hammer.
I didn't suspect as much. No, Hammy, come back.
As he pulls a 180, having been just frickin' screwed with by the people he thought he had a deal, he's gonna come running up on Walker.
Oh no.
And because he's poisoned... Wait, are you kidding? Okay, no, that's if he has advantage, then he gets to do that. Okay, he has disadvantage.
That's good.
So that was a 7. So he's not going to hit with his first attack because he gets to attack more than once.
Uh-oh. Oh. We can't have
As-
that. We got to shut that down.
As he reverses his fortunes and slices you open.
Can I use my reaction to impose disadvantage with the protection feature of my paladin? Is that
Yes,
my
if it's...
shield?
What?
Yeah, while wielding a shield and a creature you can see attacks a target other than you within 5 feet, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll.
He already had disadvantage on the attack roll.
Oh, I thought he had 2 attacks.
He had 2 attacks and he had disadvantage on both of the attacks.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, then,
okay.
I didn't realize he had disadvantage on both.
Because he's poisoned, he has disadvantage on every attack roll he makes.
Understood.
Okay. So,
Okay. Then, yeah.
As you go, damn it, this renders this particular ability of mine less effective.
Can I impose a -2?
that
you
was
know-
a solid hit.
I would say I'm willing to accept that it will impose a minus until I can double check whether or not there's some guide for how to impose multiple levels of disadvantage. As I recall, there isn't.
There is none. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm willing to house rule that if you have multiple sources of disadvantage, not only are you at disadvantage, but it's a -2. But that's still a 15 versus an armor class of 12.
Yeah.
So
It was
you still take
that's a decent hit. And he's going to regret that.
And I need to change your HP total slightly because I accidentally gave him 1 extra point of damage than he actually scored.
All right.
I don't know
That
how
was a
that worked in my
solid hit.
head. Walker,
Okay.
you've been cut open. You can feel. You're not at the point of bleeding out yet, but you almost feel like part of your intestine wants to leave your gut.
Well, that's not good.
As you try to assess exactly what to do about this situation, and I try to come up with better metaphors for HP than the standard approach.
All right. Well,
If you had
I'm
pants,
gonna-
you could have used the belt to hold it in, but
I know, right?
He just has shitty cultist pants, and they don't use belts.
no.
All right. Well, let's see here. Let me check something real quick. I need to take a look at. All right. I'm going
Didn't sound
to
good.
use. That didn't sound good at all.
That's just D100 hitting a stream deck and a glass mug.
Oh,
No problems here. Carry on.
all right. I'm gonna go ahead. If I used Burning Hands here, would I be hitting potential allies or
No,
non-combatants?
because you get to choose how to shape the cone. So, for example, you could pick this corner of your square and fire the
Right.
cone such that this was one border and that's the other border, thus catching
All right.
nobody but him.
I am going to. I'm going to use Burning Hands directly in his face.
There's also technically a way to kind of skim it so that it goes to either, so that it basically runs out like that.
If it
it
was
would
going to hit
still-
any of the allies, I was going to use my meta magic to use the careful spell to protect the ally.
That is such a great meta magic. Alright, Dex save for half damage. Will he make it? He does not make it.
I do not want him dead. I want him unconscious because we have questions for him.
Now you're gonna make me have
You might
to
have-
check whether or not spells can knock somebody unconscious.
Oh,
He might have to die.
he
I'm
might.
sorry.
Hey, if he has to die, he has to die. But if he has a chance to live, I want him alive, at least for the time being.
Give him severe dehydration from Burning Hands.
Okay. Where the hell do they... Here we go. Monsters and Death. When an attacker reduces a creature to 0 hit points with a melee attack, the attacker
With a
can knock the
melee.
creature out.
Okay,
Burning
so if
Hands
it's
is
straight up-
definitely not...
definitely. Yeah, he's a dead man. But we've still got the Acolyte, and he may know the schedule, so I'm willing to roll with him, with this guy just straight up dying.
Burning Hand style close wound cauterize.
Oh yeah,
So as
the
this man
backblast from the fire.
is pulling back, seemingly smugly satisfied in the idea that even if he dies here today, he will drag the false cultist with him, and is even cursing your unknown name as he pulls his scimitar back. You just lift your hand up, palm out in his face in the classic talk to the hand gesture. And for the record, the book says this is not how Burning Hands works, but that's because it has history. And a burning cone of fire exudes straight out of your hand into his face, burning his head down to the skull.
That's what happens when you close the distance with me. You regret it nearly immediately.
And so...
So we started the session with fire, we end it with fire.
Yes. With him thoroughly dead, you are able to take your rescued prisoners and flee effectively back to the cart and then thence back to town without being followed because, well, they're convulsing over the whole burning down the house,
Yes,
so to speak.
I think that went very well.
Yeah, we did pretty good there.
Indeed. Who says you can't split the party?
Sometimes a mission calls for a smaller party size. I'm actually surprised it went as well as it did. I thought for sure I was going to die.
Okay, so I'm looking over their guidance for how to award XP. You do get XP for the guy you just killed.
All right.
So that's going... So I need to track some of this because some of their guidance is award XP based on... award XP to a character. Or, sorry, to each character. And some of it is this XP gets divided. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of maths.
Just a bit.
Okay, we're going to round that to a single digit rather than having an infinitely repeating series.
Mm.
So, but some of their guidance is like, okay, I can see why you should get why they did it the approach they did, but they also clearly didn't think about the avoid suspicion by virtue of causing the maximum amount of alarm. Because
There
they
we
say that you should get 100 XP per character for getting into and out of the cultists' camp without causing an alarm or being caught.
Well,
Technically,
the alarm was
you
not
guys...
directly attributed to us.
For getting into and out of the cultists' camp without stirring any suspicion. You stirred
There's no
some
suspicion left.
You stirred some suspicion. I don't think you can get that one.
Darn.
But we got out of the camp before the only one that suspected us. And the fire of the watchtower was not something that
The
they
fire
directly
was
attributed to
suspicious.
us.
I
The fire may
stand
have been
by the argument that the fire was inherently suspicious. They
Damn it.
suspected
I was hoping-
something was going on. But the next up item
Mm-hmm.
is that you rescued Leosin. So you
Alright.
each are going to get XP for that, of 250
Mhm.
XP per person.
Woohoo.
You rescued all 8 of the other prisoners. And this is where they suddenly switch to take this XP and divide it amongst the party members. Either that or they didn't write it correctly and they meant to say give this to each. But I'm interpreting it the way they wrote it.
Okay.
Because every other line does say per character. This is the only
Right.
line that does not say per character. And then you... Let's see. Let me double check to see. You worked out that you didn't get it from somebody, but you did work out that not everybody here was a full-fledged member. You didn't get that piece of information. You didn't get that. You didn't get that. Didn't get that. Didn't get that. No, wait.
There's a lot of shit. That
Yeah,
We
you
fucked
did.
up a lot, yeah.
You didn't get
Maybe
that.
we should have waited
You didn't get
to
that.
burn the
Didn't get that.
watchtower.
You didn't get that. And you didn't... Nope, you did get that. So you got 2 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Of the 12 things you could have learned, you learned 2 of them.
Wow. Can we learn any of the things we missed from that one dude that we've still got? Hopefully, that hasn't been slit-throated and left in the bushes.
It's possible you'll be able to get that info, but you won't be able to get XP for that info because now you're doing it
Right.
because you know you're missing out on information.
Yeah.
As opposed to doing the... They expected the entire party to go in because, that was all those hints about the lax security, nobody's paying attention. But you honestly did... You outsmarted yourselves in this case.
We did.
In spite of that, you are still getting 534 experience each.
Damn.
Ooh, nice.
Which...
Guys-
534?
Which...
What-
534...
What are your total experience points at now? Because I haven't kept track very well.
I'm trying to remember. Did you miss more than one session? I think you only missed the one.
No. Yeah, I just missed the one. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So 9... I think, because I remember we had this issue with a couple of people last session, I want to say that we got your XP straightened out. And the fact that you're at level 3 suggests to me that we did get it straightened out.
I'm not at level 3. I'm at level 2.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong character sheet.
I
Yeah,
had
mine.
610 experience down. That's what I have.
Why is it not opening up your character sheet when I click on you? Alright, so
With
this...
that,
this all is maintenance stuff, so I'm going to take us offline. Thank everyone for
All right.
joining us. I'll stick around so that we can sort out things like XP and all that happy crap. Thank you all for showing up and watching, and have a good night. This is actually exactly where I wanted to end the session. Woohoo!